I mean, now it's going to be a safe lane Invoker with a Razor mid.
Yeah.
That is interesting. That is interesting. I mean, I love a safe lane Invoker, but Razor's just sort of a mortal counter. Not really, yeah, to the OD. OD struggles a lot against the Razor.
Yeah, it's uncertain how they're going to lane this now. I mean, have heard of an offlane Invoker before. Kind of a weird hero to put on the suicide lane, but viable in its own right. We've also seen plenty of safe lane Invoker, but again, that forces them into a weird little 2.5 aggressive situation. Scythe, their tri lane, whatever it may be, is very well founded just by default. They've got the Shadow Demon, they've got the Leshrac, so if they want to follow through with Mirana, a classic TI2 Morphling, hell, whatever they really find will work as a follow-through. They just need a little bit of damage, and they are golden. And right now, ADN doesn't have great heroes to deal with that. Usually, you look at it, you're like, okay, well, maybe it's a Puck that can phase shift, maybe it's a Lifesteal that can rage, and these things can dodge out the Split Earth, but not so much with the combination of the Eridar and the Tormented Soul going in, and the three heroes that they have currently don't have any chance in hell of getting out of that situation, especially if there is some damage follow through from Miracle, who his hero pickup remains to be seen, so we'll see. But yeah, it is a very powerful tri lane, and that makes it scary for ADN. They're still going to go for what they apparently had in mind the whole time, because it's not a great pickup against these four heroes from Scythe specifically. It's good against OD because he expends so much mana, so the Nether Ward will kind of tear into him quite effectively. But as far as his defensive aspect, he's still going to get pinned down pretty hard by Shadow Demon Leshrac. So, all in all, I think they are going to opt for that aggressive try, 2.5 with the Pugna, Chen, and 1 lane support. But I'm not 100% on that, as it is still a very awkward place to lane.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what ADN are going for here. I mean, you're talking about the Invoker offlane. It's not terrible, since obviously the lane equilibrium now switches a bit in the offlane, so it's doable, and it takes a very, very skilled and very, very alert Invoker to handle that. But up against this combo here with Shadow Demon, Leshrac, and +1, I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably going to be the Mirana, or there are options. There's still the Luna, the famous Miracle Luna. There's still the even Gyrocopter can work pretty well as well, but I'm liking the Mirana, because yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the potential they have to push as well with Leshrac and the Nature's Prophet, if he's going to be in the off lane, jumping into the top lane, take a quick tower, can secure a lot of farm for the Mirana and secure a lot of space as well. And the gold that she needs, I mean, once he gets a Midas up and just starts accelerating those items, you know, heroes like Pugna, heroes like Chen are just going to explode. They ban out the lone druids, weirdly enough, as their last ban. But
I think they're worried a little bit about the push. I mean, Furion, Leshrac, and Lone Druid are all very powerful pushers, but as you said, the Mirana is just so strong here. I mean, it's essentially a fish in a barrel lineup. You got the Astral Imprisonment setup, the Sprout setup, and the Disruption. Anywhere you want, you can fire that arrow, you can hit that arrow. I mean, that's how you win games as Mirana, and maxing out the arrow is actually a viable option because they have so much setup, and specifically ADN have no response. Pugna, Razor, Chen, Invoker, they come out of a Disruption or Imprisonment. What do? They don't have force stats at level 1. They don't have any ability that will get them out of the situation. They're just going to die, especially since none of these are strength heroes and therefore don't have that much durability against magical damage. So all in all, I really, really am afraid for ADN. If they pull out some crazy aggression that gets them an early kill lead that they can hold on to, kind of what we saw last game, but without the subsequent feeding, I think they still can get something going. But with this Mirana pickup, it is going to be an uphill battle from the start for ADN.
I was hoping for something cheesy like a Sven.
Nice.
You're talking about taking towers. I mean, Sven pops that guard strength and just wrecks down the tower, and he team fights as well, gets a fast BKB, and I wouldn't put a past Miracle to be able to farm up a BKB in no time on any hero actually. So Sven would have been fantastic against Pugna too. Get stun on Pugna. Razor could be a bit of a problem with that, with the static, with his unstable current. But yeah, go for the Mirana as we kind of guessed. The lineup came to completion, but yeah, final pick now for ADN. It's sort of still kind of wide. Yeah, I'm also going for the flanking. I mean, they've got the Razor to do damage, they've got the Invoker, but I think if we go for the Mr. Ghost tanking and he can just control the game like he did yesterday, I think they might be able to bring themselves back in. Although on Scythe lineup is looking more like I said, a little bit of a pick off push again, whereas ADN can go for full team fight. I mean, they've got the Pugna Ward, they've got the Razor to do damage, they've got his ulti, and Timbersaw works pretty well as well.
Huh, how do they do it then? In this position, do you run the Pugna support? The way I see it, Razor, Timbersaw, Invoker, and Pugna all really benefit from farm. But Mr. Ghost, the support player, is currently picking up the Invoker unless they go for a swap. So maybe a hard Quaz support Invoker, no meta?
What? If this works, man, this could be insane. But I don't think Scythe will let anything like this happen.
Yeah, he's behind wards, dude. This is a support Invoker. First one in competitive 6.8, that's for sure. Nobody runs this shit. Oh, that's so weird.
That is a support. Okay, well, I'm interested to see how it pans out, and bold strategy, Cotton. But
yeah, there you go. There you go.
But I'm sorry. I was reading a Reddit about famous movie quotes you use every day, and I'm like, I always say something along those lines, but I never use that line exactly. So that's not going to come my thing. But anyway, boots first on the on X Freedom on the Shadow Demon as well. So that's indicating a little bit of aggression, but probably use this opportunity to introduce our players. Supporting.
Sure enough. Well, we'll start things off looking over at the side of ADN. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the AOC Pro Cup. This is the second round, day 3, upper bracket.
30 seconds
and we are looking over at the side of Applez Dream Net, formerly X-Orange Esports of the Heroes of New Earth scene. Now ported over to Dota 2, we do see Mr. Ghost running on the Quaz support Invoker. We're going to be seeing Swirling Thunder, aka WTF, or Isolated, is running on the Pugna, going to be carrying it up on the bottom lane. This leaves Chen, XXL, aka Fish, to be running in the jungle. We have Slicks to be running on the Razor mid, boots first. It does have some movement advantage over the OD this time around. We are going to see Polishima running on the offlane. That's probably the only standard lane we're looking at here, is this Timbersaw offlane. And that's it for the Radiant draft, but a lot of aggression seems to be coming out of Scythe, so I'll hand that over to you.
Alrighty, on Scythe we've got Miracle going to the solo mid on the Mirana, strangely enough. Hana once again, that offlane Nature's Prophet. Odie being handled by Polison in the top lane. Switching it up quite a bit, and we have Scripted, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the track, and then finally Boots first. It's X Freedom. X Freedom on that Shadow Demon. Looks like they're going to go for a little first blood action here with those boots. Look how quick he is with those boots, and there we go. Boom.
They're going to actually stack both their suns up. Is this going to be enough damage? I'm not too sure. Slicks is going to try to go for the tree line. Last right clicks are coming through, but it is enough. Just barely. Miracle with that Wraith Band start. I swear, if he did not have that Wraith Band, he would not have done enough right click damage there. Or even if they got one extra uphill miss. That was cutting it really close with what they did there. They actually used both their Split Earth and their arrow on the disrupted target. And although both, of course, connected, they didn't get nearly the benefit out of the stuns that they could have. So that actually dropped X Freedom low. He's going to deny himself the neutrals after expending his current gold pool. So 1 death count for ADN that doesn't actually benefit them whatsoever. And yeah, it's interesting. But they did get the first blow. They did get what they came for. So although the execution was a little bit awkward, it still was to great effect. We're going to see Miracle get a nice little advantage over Slicks on this mid lane, which is something that you usually can't say, Mirana versus Razor. But all in all, if the OD doesn't have to face Razor and the Mirana is able to leap away from every single static link, he's going to be feeling pretty good about himself.
Oh, well, the cooldown static link is, it's a little more or less the same. When we get a couple, maybe one more level, it'll be really short enough cooldown for him to leap away every time there's a static link. But at the same time, X Freedom with these boots first worked out pretty well. Picked up another smoke at the same time. I think Chen picked up a smoke as well, so we could see rotation in a bit once the Invoker invokes Cold Snap, as he has at the moment. I don't know, it's such a weird lane this. I mean, there is a lot of freedom now for the supports to rotate, since OD can handle his own up against the Timbersaw bottom lane. He's not worried too much about that. I mean, it's an Invoker, support Invoker, so, you know, it has its problems, but we'll certainly probably see it coming a little bit later on. But there's going to be rotation here from XXL, so no, they should have gone for the Cold Snap a lot sooner than that. Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. I mean, they didn't really have the damage follow through. Pugna would have had to be auto-attacking him to trigger a couple more mini stuns in order to get the Hellbear in range.
Unfortunately, they lose out the smoke on the Hellbear. Hannah scouts it out and is now actually sending out his illusion as well to see what's going on here. He's going to interrupt one of his stacks. So really nothing going the way of ADN in the starting part of this game. He still tries to go for the stack here, but that's not going to work. It's a lot easier to stack in Here's a New Earth comparatively in that regard. So the timing that neutrals come out of the camps, the hitboxes, it's just a little bit different, and as a result, he gets 0 stacks instead of the 2 that he was looking for. They're just going to transition this into a bit of a push. They have Quaz and Wex up on Mr. Ghost. They do have 2 points in Nether Blast, and they are just going to go to town a little bit on this tower. Though Hannah's going to get full experience throughout the process.
Yeah, it's that's one thing they do have going for them as well, is obviously the push, and it could, you know, if they really want to be more sort of malicious, they could go for Quas Exhort and pick up those pick up the Forge Spirits to get a little bit extra pushing action, and that'll secure, I think, a little bit of gold and a little bit of experience as well for the Invoker. But a Quas Exhort Invoker is a very level dependent Invoker, and if you go for the Quas Wex, gives you a lot more sort of maneuverability in you know, changing between your spells, and it gives you a little bit of extra movement speed too. So you're not really level dependent when you're going for a Quas Wex. So I guess you are, but in terms of sort of looking at purely at supports now, I think Exhort's a little bit more level dependent, and so yeah. They're gonna try and put a little bit of push. They get the tower down to about 3/4 HP, but Miracle is controlling this lane almost completely. Although losing out to 2 CS only on Sticks, he is, I think, an entire no. They actually caught up in levels now, and Miracle's trying his best to outfarm Sticks here, but Sticks isn't doing too bad. They both got bottle, they both got boots, and we haven't really seen much action from the supports in the top lane. Both X Freedom and Scripted hasn't really done much besides stack and pull. I mean, it's not the easiest hero to kill, the Timber Soul, but they could at least try and zone him out the lane a bit, which they kind of have. He's level 4 as opposed to close to level 5 on Hana.
Yeah, it's only like a difference of like 20 or so experience per minute, so it's not that big of a deal. But we're going to see now he overextended a bit, he got disrupted up, and with that Splitter's follow through, it's going to be hard for him to get away from this one. A great imprisonment halfway through the Timber Chain. Are you kidding me, Polizon? Amazing, but is it enough? Yes, the last right clicks, despite the reactive armor buff, will still be able to finish him off. What a well-timed Astral Imprisonment halfway through the Timber Chain. He saw the only way to interrupt it, and he took that opportunity to net the kill. A very, very nice maneuver there, because, yeah, as great, as poorly positioned as he was originally, and the potency of Shadow Demon Leshrac, he's still a very, very durable hero and has that great escape mechanism with the Timber Chain. So he would have gotten away, but if not for the amazing play from the OD. But now, on the top lane, we see the nukes come out. They did go for the Centaur and the Cold Snap, and follow through with a couple of very powerful magical combos. So they bursted on Test of Faith and Nether Blast, and they're going to take this tower, I believe, as well. The arrow will fly onto XXLZ in tower range. No, the tower is going to focus on the creep first, but Nether Blast will come out, and that's going to be the tower kill. However, Miracle is only 1 hit away from killing off the Chen. Unfortunately, it's 1 hit too many, as he really should pursue on this, but he's going to go anyways. Hannah's helping him out. He last hits on the Chen, and this support Invoker can only watch as he gets mauled on by both Furion and the Mirana. So really, really good presence of mind from Miracle. Some great rotation from Hannah, respawning and just coming right back into the fight. Does give Slicks a little bit of free time on the mid lane, but that was kind of his lane to control anyway. So wherever Miracle can find some extra cash, helping out with those 2 kills, that is actually boding pretty well for his mid game.
Yeah, I really want this Invoker thing to work out. I want it to become a thing. It's so funny to see the Invoker, especially if he gets a couple of levels in the late game, just being so... I mean, he actually is a fantastic support. I mean, he has so many different spells, and but anyway, yeah, the team fight there. I mean, they still have that pushing potential. As I mentioned, it will give them a little bit of breathing room, create a bit of space, and Timso on the top lane is getting relatively shut down. The supports they're rather static for this early game. I mean, they sat in the jungle on the side there for a while, waiting for Timso to come forward so they could pick him off again. But he knows they're there. I mean, they're nowhere else on the map. They're busy making kills bottom. Nobody's mid, so he knows the supports are waiting for him on the sidelines, and he's not going to try out anything funny there. But looks like they're going to send. They're sort of switching up a bit now. They've got what's going on. They're sending Razor Slicks down to the bottom lane, and they're going to put the Pugna into the middle. And looks like they're sending up Invoker to the top now to do a little bit of try see if you can help out the Timbersaw here.
Yeah.
But Yeah, and they're gonna pop. Ooh, middle lane, a little bit of action here.
Yeah, maybe. Moonlight Shadow gonna come up the ramp here just outside of the tower vision range, and I think they're gonna catch him off guard. We're gonna start off with the disruption on the Chen here. The Root's gonna do nothing against them. They'll just completely incinerate this poor Chen. Didn't stand a chance. And now the tower damage is gonna come through after killing off the Nether Ward. They have Fury in here. Treant's coming up in just a couple seconds, and maybe follow through with that Diabolic Edict in about 10, if they do really want to commit to that tower hardcore. But it looks like they're just going to go for another rotation. Just find a kill here, find a kill there, create more openings, and set back ADN a little bit further, both psychologically, as they feel like they're being attacked across the entire map, as well as in that gold deficit. So Scythe are really getting a good handle on the game right now. A Midas on Polason, as he's just going to skyrocket in his farm, and a very delayed one on Hannah if he's going to go one at all. Now on bottom lane, Slicks is taking a lot of hits. The Magic Wand is not going to be enough here, and it is going to be Miracle to finish the job. He did get drained a little bit of the static link, but he was able to walk away with his phase boots, has a bit of an advantage there, and was able to leap right back into combat to finish the job. So actually great play by Miracle. I mean, you usually don't see a 3-0-2 Mirana without a ton of support, but for the most part he's been doing this single-handedly. So very nice movement from him, and of course you can expect that when he gets such a great start on the lane. Now the tier 1 in the middle is dropping pretty low. This is one thing that ADN does have going for them, is this massive tower advantage, and with this Nether Blast, yes, they will secure a second tower out of the 3 tier 3s.
You know, you say that about Mirana, but I look over at my roommate's screen and he's 4 for 0 with a roaming Mirana. But but again, this is Miracle we're talking about, and yeah, that's once again the power of the push. They managed to get it off, and that's exactly what they got to keep on doing. They are sitting. Oh, actually, no, they're taking a little bit of a leap now in the gold. They're just 250. But yeah. So that's pretty much the only way they can stay in this game, is that's pushing power. But as the game goes on, it gets and moves on to Pulson, just getting so many different items, and now, oh dear.
Yeah, really bad spot for the Chen. Mr. Ghost is going to come in, zone them out a little bit with the EMP. Not going to hit with the EMP, but the Cold Snap still doing some work. But jumping right on in, doing some damage with the Star Storm. They're going to be able to finish off the Chen. Great Sans Eclipse to burst nuke as well. And with that very potent right click of the Arcane Orb, they will send Timbersaw packing as well, a 3 for 0, and it was just based on some really poor positioning from XXL, not where he needed to be whatsoever. They were already planning to initiate on that lane, and then he's like, hey guys, what's going on? You're killing my allies right here? Well, I'm a very, very weak level 4 ranged support hero that doesn't have his mechanism yet. Would you please kill me too? It's just essentially what he's asking there. But now they have a 7-kill advantage. They've taken the gold lead once more, significantly actually. It's a huge dip, and we're going to see them move in towards not only the tier 1 but possibly the tier 2. I honestly think they could have. If they wanted to go for Treants and Edict, they could have put some huge damage into tier 2, but giving space to Slicks, giving ADN any room to breathe, they don't think so.
Oh, Miracle looking
Mr. Ghost. Mr. Ghost is disrupted, and he is definitely going to die here. But they're going to try to come in. Slicks is going to rotate, do a lot of damage with that nuke. Plasma Field going to do some hits, but do they have the damage to finish off Leshrac? Need one more right click. Polason doing the body blocks here. Has Force Staff up in 10 seconds. They pop the Moonlight Shadow. Slicks is pursuing the Plasma Field. Should finish the job here. No, he falls back. He walked away, and it doesn't hit. He was trying to go for some clutch max damage output by hitting them just on the edge, and instead, he doesn't hit him at all. Complete whiff considering the 50 HP of Scripted on the Leshrac. Man, that could have been just the easiest kill if he walked forward, maybe popped phase. He could have guaranteed it, but instead gets absolutely nothing. Good day, sir.
Yeah, and I mean, that fight started off from great for Scythe, and both teams essentially have the exact same lineup again. They've got pick off, push, and that's exactly what happened. They took down 3 heroes, got a tower. You know, going for the tier 2, they could have. I mean, if they really wanted to end this game, they could have pushed with the tier 2. But I think Slicks was on his way over, and the teams with the guys respawning as well, and EMP not wanting to fight into EMP tornado. I think that was pretty smart. But then they got caught off anyway by a great EMP, as they both got caught off in the side there. But now they're gonna go for the tower themselves, and they have pretty fast pushing potential, and we are going for a couple of necro books too.
Ooh, Tornado will connect onto the OD. The Cold Snap will not hold him in place enough with that Force Staff coming out. Splitters, however, will miss, and now we do see Scripted in a really bad spot. The right clicks will ensue. They're going to be able to kill off the Leshrac for sure. Now looking over at the OD. He did already pop off the prison. He's going to drop his ultimate as well, but Slicks is hitting hard, and he will get the kill first. A la Test of Faith. now we do see two kind of on the sides here. Furion's still pushing on bottom. Might be able to teleport in if they see an opening, but right now they're just trying to get a grasp on the situation, as the dire vision is kind of lacking in this specific region. Just south, they have a great observer ward place, but in that very position, it's dark, and it's very difficult for them to see their openings. In fact, they even right now, ADN see the lone X-Freedom on the Shadow Demon, but they know that the respawns are coming out, and they do not want a piece of that action. So they'll take what they were looking for. They don't get the tier 1 tower on top. The fortification was enough to keep that alive, but they did get 2 kills, losing their tier 1 tower down on bottom.
Once again, yeah, push. They didn't get the tower, but I mean, they still went for the same sort of thing, and that was really well played by Slicks, picking up a double kill there. Much deserved, much needed double kill. He's sitting a little bit behind in terms of farming. 30 minutes in the game, 65 CS. Surprisingly, right at the top. Nobody's been farming. Everyone's been farming heroes and towers. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't picked up a level in his ulti yet, which you know, I'm a bit indifferent when it comes to that. I mean, his ulti does do a lot, but in this sort of lineup, they have the big sort of chase push. It helps having a couple of levels in your unstable current as well as your plasma field, and he obviously needs the static link. So you'll probably see him grab up a couple of levels in the ulti now. But oh wow, trying to look for a little bit of damage here on Slicks.
Yeah, gonna keep that push pressure going. In the mid lane, Pugna was kind of singled out with the prison and then into Sprout. He didn't have a way to break the Sprout, but fortunately, they don't have any extra stuns after that imprisonment. So wisely, he just TPs away, finishes up his Necro book, and now he can contribute to either the top lane fight or farm up a little bit more. Actually, he is making his way right back to the mid lane, which is exactly where they need to be. Furion teleporting in. Hannah wants to bring down the structure. It only has 190 HP. It should be easy pickings, but Pugna, a lot of base damage. Might be able to get the last hit on it. Denied. Not going to come at all. They're not going to go for it. They're just going to go for the Tornado EMP onto Polisan. He 4-staffs out, and they just kind of seed that 100%, while Slicks gets a huge amount of damage from the static link. The Purge effect onto Freedom. Slicks is going to be able to just one-shot him just about. Chen will pick up the last hit there. In the meantime, Polisan, 4-staff cooling down 5 seconds, is going to be able to get away from the Pugna, who otherwise would have pursued him very far to try to get a third kill. But one I didn't catch was Marana and Timbersaw both dropping around the secret shop. Did you happen to catch that?
I did it. I was watching the fight middle.
Sure enough. Well, we do see Miracle as well as Polishima both dropping down. I'm assuming just an exchange of nukes, and neither one got out alive. But now we do see push pressure on the tier 2, and actually a potential pickoff here. Haste does not get dispelled, though. That's the big deal. If Mr. Ghost Tornado had landed, he would no longer be hasted, and that OD would be easy pickings. But unfortunately, missing out on that, a good 4-staff from Polisan keeps him up.
Yeah, and I guess you're starting to see the power now of ADN with that Necro book. Once it starts getting a couple of levels in the Necro book, I think, you know, towers just become a lot more easy to take. I mean, top towers are sitting pretty low. They saw the last tier 1. They still have that vision up in the jungle, so they're probably going to head up there in a second or two. Hana, on the other hand, sitting right underneath the ward, is going for the Necro book this game, so it's not going to be the stock standard or the Shadow Blade damage dealing Nature's Prophet. It's rather going to be the split push annoying, because they can fight as 4. They've got a great lineup for fighting as 4, and now it looks like they're going to go for a kill on Slicks here.
Yep, gonna get the disruption up. He's kind of completely trapped in by the illusions. Nowhere to go, nowhere to run.
Weird to run there. That was very weird to run there.
Yeah,
kind of just got put out.
Scythe is gonna find the pickoff they're looking for, and now with the Necro to infuse their push, they're gonna really hammer down on this tier 2. The fortification is available, but I don't know if ADN really have a foothold here. Their Pugna is pretty farmed. Necro 1. They did just get the Arcane Boots on the Chen to support their Mechanism Hand of God, and they are going to finish off this tier 1 tower no problem, but as far as holding this tier 2, they're going to need a really, really good setup from Mr. Ghost, a really big Tornado EMP, and I just don't see it happening right now. Damage coming in from the Treants, the Diabolic Edict, hammering through. They will pop the fortification. Tornado EMP will hit on nothing though. And now they're going to get the disruption. Will they follow through with this splitter? Looking for it, but not going to find it. Instead, canceling it out and being run down. Polishima, big nukes coming out from the Timbersaw, and they hold this position very handily.
Yeah, Slicks I think is sort of the saving grace at the moment here for ADN. I mean, he's doing work besides getting picked off now and then. He's doing work. I mean, he's doing quite a bit of damage as well. And he's going for a BKB straight up. And I was yeah, I was kind of expecting that. And then speaking of BKBs, we've got Miracle going for one as well. Miracle actually tried to go on the Pugna in the bottom lane. He missed an arrow by literally inches. Pugna was about here, and the arrow came just past him as he ran past. So that was extremely close. And if you picked off the Pugna there, I think they could have definitely taken that tier 2 tower. Pugna actually did drop down anyway. So
yeah, actually, I didn't catch that. I got distracted by Twitch chat, and you know, rookie mistake. But
rookie mistake, yeah. It's But yeah, Slicks on the other hand is, I think, sort of the saving grace at the moment, the damage he's dealing, and Razor can turn games around, but he can do a significant amount of damage in team fights with that drain, especially if he does get it down onto the Murano. And it does, I think, the BKB, you cannot link them while they're BKB, the BKB doesn't dispel the link. So it's going to be hard, I think, for Miracle to keep up that damage, especially as we move into the late game when he starts picking up a few more damage items. Actually, they saw that ward get put down there, and they see the... Oh, is that inside the radius? Oh, it is. Yes.
I actually don't think it is. Although it may look very close, or even possibly inside 100% for our vision, it's actually, the circles, the rangefinder doesn't actually work like that, and I believe it actually is just barely outside.
The arrow of parallax, for those who know science.
Yep.
In the meantime, some was picked up by Mirana, solo kill there. Mirana's still sitting there at the back line there. They popped off the Moonlight Shadow, so she should be fine to get out of here. But that was a quick pop off. I think they just got the got an arrow, and that's BKB actually finished for Miracle now.
Yeah, that actually, I've got to get my act together. I feel like I'm missing kills the past minute or so left and right. I haven't seen a single one, but we're seeing some good movement from Scythe in general. I mean, they have this 6 kill advantage and they're flaunting it. They're showing what they can do, though now burning through a Necronomicon might not be the best option, as he's in a little bit of a bad spot. He does have 2 Force Staffs, his own, along with the Shadow Demons, so it's not like he's going to drop down, but if there was a Timber Saw at his heels, he might be regretting that movement. Either way, as you mentioned, the Static Link is still one thing that really helps out what Slicks has going for him, but the 2 Force Staffs make it easy to break that, really easy. They can just jump away, no problem at all, and from there, really, what can you expect? Actually, Bolshevik taking a lot of hits here, but not going to drop down, just a couple of magic nukes flying his way. Yeah, I don't think they really have that much strength in this position now. They're going to let the tier 2 tower drop down bottom, and I think they kind of rest in their laurels for a moment. Scythe maybe go take a Roche, get a little bit more map vision on their side, because right now they have great map vision on their opponents. One ward about to dispel up top, one ward that's halfway done down enemy's jungle, but I don't know. If they want to go balls to the walls of Grosha, they certainly have the vision for it, but if they do fall back and farm, they need a little bit more coverage, as is this ward they just placed in the mid lane here.
Well, sadly at the moment 8,000 gold and about 6,000 experience as well, so they are holding on to lead, as you mentioned, the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane going down. But you know, Polyshima's not having a fantastic game either. I mean, he got picked off quite a bit in the top lane. He's struggling to get that Bloodstone up, and I think they are pinging on Rush at the moment, so that is probably the next option for them. However, Miracle did complete that BKB, up to the 10-second BKB now, and he's going to slowly start picking up a couple more kills. I mean, he's been really on par with his arrows this game. As you mentioned, we have missed a few pickoffs, but he's done sort of by himself, just being in the right place at the right time, getting off a quick arrow. But now it looks like a little bit of action maybe on the middle lane, as 4 heroes transcend and just really scripted left in the middle.
We actually see something that I don't really have a good explanation for. We are going to see Nature Prophet just kind of soloing up the Roche for the moment, but X-Freedom picked up a Quelling Blade a while ago, not at the beginning of the game, and they're not up against the Furion, otherwise they'd just say it's for Sprout. So I don't actually know what that's for, but he's been using it occasionally, just cutting into weird little spook spots, and I guess it's just one of those little positioning tools that he's been using to try to set up openings. I don't know.
The only reason I would see it is if he was doing some weird jungle gimmick like up here, or they're cutting through here to put creeps through and get. That's the only reason I would see anybody pick up, any sort of range hero pick up a Quelling Blade. But yeah, maybe he was cutting into the trees at the bottom and trying to get in position. But one thing I haven't spoken about, the jungle is stacked up quite nicely. Yeah. There was another stack somewhere else. There was one, I think. Yeah. Nature's Prophet has been making some frequent trips in there to pick up a couple of creeps, and that's sort of what we talk about Nature's Prophet, his power of the flash farm. You can just TP to any jungle, and well, there are only two, but TP to either of the jungles and start farming up a storm with a Hand of Mana. As soon as Hand of Mana comes off cooldown, pick up a quick creep camp or two. And that's sort of the power of Nature's Prophet, and I guess that and this big split push, which he has actually been starting to do. I mean, as you see, Necrobrook 3 is available now for him, and it's just going to continuously annoy the crap out of ADN, and it kind of fiddles with their lineup a bit because they can't really push as full. They have to send a core hero back to deal with Nature's Prophet, and that kind of messes up their sort of strategy. They'll have to send something like the Razorback, who's maybe their damage dealer, the Timbersaw, who's actually not that farmed, and I feel Nature's Prophet could probably kill him off. So it really messes with their lineup now, and that's exactly what Hana's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now they don't have any tools to deal with the BKB Mirana. She did pop off her 10-second charge as she got caught out with her leap on cooldown, but I mean, still, we know that for a fact. If Miracle wants to initiate and has that BKB up, there's absolutely nothing that ADN can really do to him. The Razor, of course, can still do quite a bit of damage. That's all they've really got going now. Moonlight Shadow, Scythe can start off. He will actually miss the stun here, just hitting on the neutrals, but that's still quite a very powerful pick. Anyways, they're going to try to burst down Pugna, but he's just going to drop the heal and try to heal up as much as possible. Speaking of, Hand of God and Mechanism will come out to just bring them back up to snuff. So nobody dying just yet. In fact, as the fight sustains longer and longer, Slicks is going to do more and more damage throughout it. We do see the pursuit, try to bring that Shadow Demon, the Force Staff, and TP in the Roche Pit, and he gets out. So still no kills throughout this little skirmish here. Just tremendous healing from XXL from the Pugna's ulti. Slick's going to come in though and dish it out quite a bit up against the Leshrac here, as just kind of the brute squad with the Centaurs and Hellbears roaming around with them. But it does look like they're in retreat. They've expended most of their resources, most of their cooldowns and mana, and they're going to head back to the safety of their own side. In the meantime, Furion did get some hits in on the top lane here. The tier 3, actually very low, 80 HP on this top tier 3 tower.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. They had to send the Timbersaw back to the base to try to defend up against Hana, and Hana just got all his mana, or burnt away all of Polishima's mana with those Necrobrooks and put the tower down to, as you mentioned, 80 HP. And that's just it. If they had the Timbersaw there, they could have probably picked off one of the supports, or even Pulson, who just got away with the Force up, and he's got a Scythe of Ice up now, which I'm sure you mentioned, and Courier actually going to get brought down here by Miracle, as he actually arrowed to give himself vision. Pretty well played there, and that's what was in it. Was there anything in it?
Just a Vitality booster, so I mean it is kind of important considering it's 25 minutes in, that's 1100 gold, but it wasn't gonna. Oh wait, no, if he disassembled the Arcane Boots, it would have finished the Bloodstone, so I guess that's actually a pretty huge deal. I thought that for some reason I was not thinking about the energy booster, but apparently my head is still in 7 AM world, so forgive me. But yeah, that is pretty clutch. I mean, taking out that Bloodstone for several minutes, making sure that that's not going to be on the table means Timbersaw is going to be less active, longer respawns, more gold lost on death, and in general just less HP and mana to spam out. Not getting hit by the arrow, but solo drums, I don't think it's enough for Miranda to make anything happen here. He's going to leap away and should be safe and sound now. But even so, the Timbersaw is pretty tanky of his own right, at least next to his tier 3s with his entire team to support him. But they don't really have anything to hold on to these towers here. They're getting just ratted out, pushed in left and right, getting hit by the Edict on mid, the Furion Treants on bottom, and Miracle just doing whatever the hell he wants on top. We do see Pugna gets a great deny, Force Staffed in, and going for that last hit. Will pop the Aegis here, and they've already won this fight. This wasn't even a contest, 4v3. And the Force Staff might be enough to get away, Pulse on away, but they get the Cold Snap. And just a few more right clicks. There's the Chakra, and that's going to be the kill. But he turns around for Sanity Eclipse, almost gets Mr. Ghost. But the usage of the Centaur Stomp and Hand of God turns that around once more. 2 kills in favor. And a gem on the deck if they find it. There we go. Oh, he's going to snag it. X-Freedom picks it up, but they dust him immediately. Can they actually slow him down? He does 4 staffs to the high ground. The Penitence wouldn't have been enough, and in the meantime, Miracle in the base, taking down the racks, now with BKB Pop trying to bring down the Timbersaw, but needs to run, needs to get out. No, he's fighting it out. He says, screw it, I know you have 3 people next to your fountain, I'm not diving deep enough yet, and he will pick up a kill on the Invoker, but needs to leap perfectly to get out of this. He does. He leaps out, dodges out the Nether Blast, the heal though, the life drain from Swirling Thunder. They will finally bring Miracle down after he runs around inside their base for a good 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. They went for a great team fight middle, got a couple of pickoffs, but they could not stop the Nature's Prophet as well as Miracle pushing out their tower. And that opens up the base now, and that makes it even harder for them. Now they don't have to deal only with the Nature's Prophet split pushing, but it's, a lane continues to come into their base and sort of opening up the options for the Nature's Prophet. Man, I casted a game a while ago with the Nature's Prophet, and he single-handedly, and I hate to say it's all, but actually.
Yep, we are going to be seeing some movement here. First, they're going to burst down the Leshrac. Easy pickings, as he's just so squishy at this stage in the game. He went for a mobility build with the 4-staff phase, and as a result, has very low effective HP. But unfortunately for them, they won't be able to pick off the Shadow Demon. Didn't even have to 4-staff away. Just saw it, walked away. They didn't have the lockdown, and they had their forces divided elsewhere. So they get a nice little pick on the Tormented Soul. But I don't think it's enough to push on the tier 2. They are so underfarmed comparatively. They need something, and I think they are going to try for it, but we'll have to see if it actually will be successful in any real respect. 28 seconds on cooldown for the Hand of God. The mechanism, however, is indeed up.
That's what I'm talking about now. Like what I wanted to mention, Scythe here, or sorry, Hana on the bottom lane. He has got the backdoor protection taken off. I don't know why he doesn't just walk up. Oh, he's doing that right now. It's earlier. I mean, he could have TP'd into the base right about here, spawned trees, spawned his Necrobook, and actually put pressure onto the tier 3. But actually, a little bit of action here as they go through somewhat of a base race. Maybe.
To some extent, Mr. Ghost is going to take a huge amount of damage though from that arrow. That is support Evoker is just not tanky enough. He will pop off the Cold Snap, but die immediately after the fact, and they're just going to force away. So they lose the Invoker, they force Slick's BKB, and they lose nothing for it. In the meantime, Hannah is chewing away at this tier 3. As you said, it could have been a little bit faster. He could probably be hitting on the racks already, but you know, he still gets his job done. He still forces them to retreat, to rat it out, and he's going to be Polish him and try to clean things up here. Nice nuke, combos, all that AoE, and they will keep the racks alive. The range racks probably would have been killed off if he had done rat it a little bit harder, as you said, but you know, they take off the Invoker for free. They pop another very important BKB charge for Razor, and they get some damage on the base itself. Can't complain.
Yeah, and that's what I was mentioning about Nature's Prophet, that in the game I casted Nature's Prophet refused to TP in the base when, I don't know, he just wouldn't. Even if the creeps pushed in here, he would TP there and push the creeps with him, wouldn't TP to the racks. And I mean, this was in the Balkan Cup Grand Final, so I mean, these aren't amateur teams. But I'm glad to see Hana actually jumping in and taking down the racks. A little bit late. Maybe he was a bit hesitant. Maybe he didn't want to force a TP back just yet. Maybe he thought, maybe there was a lot of confidence in Pulse on team wiping everybody with a big hammer drop of the Sanity's Eclipse. But however, he managed to put a little bit of damage to the racks, and we'll probably see him TPing in there again once the creeps enter the base. And yeah, I mean, him on the other hand, he's still. He hasn't got any mobile items like a Shadow Blade or anything. He's, like I said, he's gone for that just ratty pushing Nature's Prophet. He picked up a Scythe of Ice now as well, and that's the second one on the team.